日本時間4月7日、米国時間4月6日、ドジャースはブルージェイズ戦で打線が爆発し、敵地ロードトリップを4連勝とした。中心となったのは大谷翔平を擁する打線で、チームは17安打14得点と圧倒的な攻撃力を見せつけた。試合後の取材では、若手のダルトン、ラッシングがチーム全体で流れを作り、お互いに勢いを与え合っていると語り、好調の要因としてつなぐ意識を強調。レーブ・ロバーツ監督も四球や進塁打など正しい打席内容が結果につながっていると評価した。一方、ブルージェイズのジョン・シュナイダー監督は満塁の好機を生かせず、投手陣も守備も機能しなかったと完敗を認め、攻守両面での課題を挙げた。ドジャースは投打が噛み合い、理想的な試合運びで連勝を継続。次戦は山本由伸とケビン・ゴーズマンの先発対決が予定されており、ここまで本来の姿を見せきれていない山本の回答にも期待が高まる。試合後インタビューでは、ラッシング、ロバーツ監督、そしてシュナイダー監督のコメントが詳しく紹介されている。ぜひ続きもご覧いただきたい。
Well, the Dodgers, from one offensive explosion to another on this road trip, biggest one yet, 14 runs in the first game against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, when you're talking about 17 hits, it's season high. 14 runs, it's a season high. 5 home runs in a game, I think it's season high. And 2 from Dalton rushing. When you're using kind of some of your spare parts and you don't have Will Smith in there, you don't have Miggy in there, guys that have super memories in this stadium, it was a very nice night.
So this one obviously turned into a laugher. Tomorrow, though, that's awesome. When you look at the pitching matchup, Yamamoto against Gausman.
Gausman's throwing the ball maybe the best he has in his career for 2 starts, and Yamamoto has not had a Yamamoto outing yet. Right. He's been solid for him, but we're all of a sudden expecting something special here tomorrow.
All right, game 2 of the series, Dodgers and Blue Jays. Dodgers 4-0 on this road trip.
Freddie, early in that national series, you said you weren't too happy with the swing, but ultimately you got there, did some different drills. How have you found just kind of maintaining that, especially with these results as of late?
Yeah, I mean, obviously results are going to make you feel better about yourself. Just trying to do the same work routine that I've been doing the last few days before the games and before practice, and things have been, starting to fall a little bit more. There's still one didn't fall, but it's okay. Better results lately.
With this offensive performance from the group, I mean, how do you just kind of put to words where this team is at and how you guys are really feeding off of each other offensively?
That's what I was about to say. We're feeding off each other. Teo getting big, getting runs on the board in the first inning. Andy staying hot. Let's not talk about it. Let's just let him keep going. Dalton, huge game. Everyone just, doing their part. Shohei, Kyle working walks, getting on base, sack flies, moving guys over, getting them in. It was just a quality game on both sides of the ball today. Justin was great. Bullpen came in, did a great job, played great defense, and we obviously hit today.
A lot of crowd was fired up before the game. A lot of boos. Did you feel like you just took them out of it?
When you score a lot of runs, you're going to take the crowd out of it. That's just kind of how it goes. Obviously, I think the media and everyone else was a little bit more hyped up than. Because it's a new team, new year. We got different guys on our team too, but we obviously understand it's a World Series matchup. But it's just nice that Teo was able to get us on the board. Justin settled down after the first inning. We just kept going on, piling on runs. You said it, not me.
What was it like seeing Dalton have a game like this after what he did last year?
Yeah, I mean, Dalton, I think when I was in here watching the game, Justin Robleski came in and said that's what he did all year in the minor leagues. It's what we heard about what he was doing. A curveball slider down and in, and to stay through it and hold it and backspin a ball is very hard to do. Usually that's a topspin hook, and he's feeling good and staying through baseballs, getting a lot more trust. We're able to give Will a day off a little bit more than normal. That's huge for us going down the stretch and throughout the course of the year. Dalton's obviously got off to a great start. He calls a good game. He cares about the pregame meetings. He wants to do well behind the plate, call a great game. And it's just nice to see a young guy get success early on in the season.
Dave, we've seen a continuation just of this offense and how it's kind of broken out. But when they're able to put up 17 hits today, 14 runs, I mean, how do you kind of just describe where the group is at, especially up and down, and then including the bench?
Yeah, we sort of picked back up from yesterday, late in the game, and just the at-bats all around, taking walks, getting hits, passing the baton situationally, really good. Even just early on, Getting a guy over, driving him in with the sack fly. Those are things that, run the base as well. And obviously, we threw out a lot of hits today, but, I think we're just doing things the right way and running deeper counts, hitting to the opposite field. And obviously, Dalton had a huge night, so that was good to see. But, everyone, 1 through 9 was really solid.
Dalton, he was just talking to us about some of those, whether mechanical changes, mindset changes, that has put him in a better position to be ready when called upon, understanding the limited playing time. How are you just seeing him continue to evolve into this role, but really not necessarily behind the plate, at the plate?
Yeah, at the plate, I think that he's just slowing down a little bit more. I think his swing is much more simplified. And, sometimes, when you don't try to do too much, big things happen. And I thought that was the case tonight. He took some really simple swings and elevated, and the ball went out of the ballpark. But, he's taking walks, got hit by pitch, and also a couple of singles. So had a great night, and also just what he's done with the guys behind the, with the pitchers, how he's handling those guys and earning some trust with those guys. So I was happy we got him in there, back-to-back starts, and that's good for his confidence.
Higgs, new seat. I like it.
I'm trying new things. John, given Shirley wanting a bounce back coming into that stretch, coming into this, what do you take away from a loss like that?
Loss is a loss, and you got to move past it. And at the whole thing, you got to get the offense going. Feels like there's been bases loaded in almost every game with 2 outs, I feel like, and you need someone to get the big hit. You can't rely on everyone, or you can't rely on Vlad or George or whoever it is. You got to kind of get that hit and kind of pop that that balloon, if you will. And it was a tough night overall. I think from the mound to the batter's box. So again, we got to rely on kind of moving on to tomorrow, and hopefully get a good start from Kev.
Was Max sick as well, or did something happen there?
No, he's dealing with a little forearm tendonitis. Kind of talked about it the last couple days, and even this morning and this afternoon. So we kind of had an idea, maybe a little shorter for him. I think the positive side is that it didn't feel any worse, and with where we're at right now with our rotation, you lose Cody and you got Hosey and Beebs and Trey not here right now. Going to be extra careful, and Max is brutally honest. That's one of his many great qualities. So I don't want to say but fairly to quite fairly confident he'll make his next start, and that was kind of the thinking in taking him out when we did.
John, at one point he looked into the dugout and said, "I'm okay." Mm-hmm. Was he feeling the forearm tendonitis in the previous inning, and was he saying he's going to try to kind of grind it out for another inning?
Just kind of, I told him just to kind of keep me updated in the moment if he could, myself and Pete, and it's kind of what we expected. Again, I think even if he felt great, you know what I mean? It sucks to say, but we have a lot of games left, and we can't really afford to lose anyone, in the rotation right now. So him saying I'm okay was kind of like, hey, I'm good for what I have right now.
And is there anything going on with Nathan Lucas in that type of ball game? You would expect him to come in for Varsh. Mm-hmm. Is he feeling under the weather as well?
No, he's fine. I didn't know till right before the inning that Rojas was coming in. I want Varsh to continue to swing. I want him to kind of get going. And no, nothing wrong with Nate. He'll probably be in there tomorrow. I think there's part of it is you want certain guys to kind of get going, and you never know when that's going to be. And part of it is I want the guys that are focal points of our team to stay out there and stand up and take a punch on the chin when you have to and say, hey, we're okay. I'm not going to sit here and cower, and Varsh is one of those guys.
John, last year you guys fostered like a next man up mentality, and the injuries have hit you guys pretty hard to start this season. How do you feel like you guys are fostering that again this year? Or if not, how do you kind of get that back?
Yeah, you have to. I think we are really. Again, I feel like at times I'm over positive in times like this where it's no secret it's not working right now, and better now than in July or August or whatever you want to call it. We're 10 games into the season, and if we sit here and dwell on it, that's when shit snowballs, and you can't dwell on 30 at bats, 40 at bats for guys. They'll get going, but it has to be next man up. It has to do, continue to do what you're supposed to do and move on to the next day. If we get caught up in it, then that's where you kind of look around and you say, wow, I don't want the woe is me. You know what I mean? I said it a couple days ago. It's what can we do now? We're going to continue to think that way, continue to work that way, and there's going to be games where it doesn't work out, you know what I mean? And there's going to be games where it does work out and you lose. There's going to be games where it may not work out and you win, but you have to keep the big picture in mind. And, right now, I think not just our depth is being tested, our kind of like, our creativity is being tested as a group, like, how are we going to cover this? What are we going to do? It's not always perfect, but I think we take a lot of pride in that, and the players do too. And for the last 5 games, it's been really tough, but they're in a good frame of mind. I think they've all been through enough, and they're all old enough and mature enough to say, hey, this is not going to define our season right now. If you get caught in that, quicksand, and then you look around and you say, look who's missing and look who's hurt, then that's when you can really kind of start to lose it.
I think it was any kind of gamesmanship at the end, them having Rojas pitch.
No, they've done that before. We've done that where, I don't know what their schedule looks like, but you want to save arms. We're in the same boat right now, and games like that. No, I think that they've done that. I think they've done that quite a bit with Kike. And he's out there wearing the helmet and things like that, but. No, Doc's too much of a professional to do that or anything like that. I mean, he had Tucker in there, Teo in there. He took Freddie out because Freddie's getting a little old, still really good, but I think more.
John, just a bit more on the timeline with Max. When did that tendonitis first emerge? Did he come out of his last start with it?
It was probably a day or two after that, I think. He threw his normal side in between and then was kind of feeling it a little bit, and he's hyper aware of it, and he's hyper open about how he's feeling. Guy's 41, he's going to be 42, so there's going to be some things that pop up, that's part of it. And I think him understanding how to navigate, just right now with where we are, where the season is, where we want to go, he was just really open about it in the last probably 36 hours.
Just the way you were describing before, this is something that can both heal if his workload is managed properly between outings?
Yeah, he hasn't had an MRI or nothing structural or nothing, no real red flags, I we have to be pretty mindful with our staff, and I don't think there's anything really going forward that's not going to get any worse. I think it kind of just needs to calm down. So that was kind of the purpose of the shorter outing too.
John, about the defense. I mean, this is supposed to be one of your calling cards.
It is.
Right?
It is. Yeah.
Today, another 2 errors and another play that could have been another error. It's just been. It continues to be sloppy. What do you do? What do you say to them to clean it up?
You go back to work tomorrow. You look at the errors. It's a weird swing and bunt from Shohei where I think Flem just should probably eat it. The guy runs, I don't know, like a 3-5 to first base. And then, it's a rocket at Okamoto. He's been nails. He's been good. I think the other things, when you're kind of in it, the play with Vlad and off him to Ernie to Fleming, you want to convert that. But again, it's one of the many things that we're really good at. So I don't think you're going to see us out there early, firing balls at guys or, last thing we're going to do is sit here and panic. This is 10 games into the season. We're not going to change how we prepare or what we talk about or what we think is important. When you're losing games in a row, all that stuff gets magnified, right? So I'm not going to say that we're playing bad defense. This is going to happen over the course of the year. This bad offense, bad defense, bad pitching, giving up homers. It's going to happen. It just seems like right now, the baseball world is trying to throw it all at us at once. So if we back down from that, we're in trouble. And I know that everyone in there and every coach in there is not going to back down from it. So it's I trust all those guys to make the plays, and I think they all have shown that they can at a really high level. So if it was something that was a glaring weakness of ours, I'd be a little bit worried. But it's something that's been a glaring strength of ours for a lot of years, and I'm not going to let today or the last couple games define how we do it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
今回も最後までご視聴いただき本当にありがとうございました。動画の内容を楽しんでいただけたでしょうか。もしよろしければチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。皆さんの応援が今後の動画制作の大きな励みになります。それではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。